Leverage. How's everyone doing? We have some dollar weakness today. Everyone doing all right? I'm going to be interviewing Lydia Idem Finkley at Faith Might today. Who's in the house? I see Malcolm, Jack, Skip, JM, Alexander, Alexandros, Tillin, and Mystic. How's everyone doing? Please give me a Y if you could hear me and see Noster Pinkard on your screen. Can you guys hear me? Everyone doing all right? Hi, Jax. How are you, brother? Please give me a Y if you could hear me clearly. Hello, JM. Thank you. How are you, Alexandros? Looks like they turned the Aussie today. Hi, Fab, Planet, Apostle, how are you? Fab, how are you? So Ziggy did this. How do I look, Alexandros, with a beard? I think instead of Nostradamus, I look more like a rabbi. If you're here, Ziggy, thank you. Everyone doing all right? So what's Lar up to today? Hello, JM. So gold pushing up. Aussie finally turned at the 71.75 level. That was near the target. We'll see what it could get out of this. Thank you, Jax. Yen's really getting hit. Looks like a breakdown in yen. Never got back up towards 24. I guess 23.60 was enough. Pretty ugly. I forgot who it was who liked the long side of pound yesterday. That was a great call. I think it was JJ. Euro pound moving sideways during this. Maybe we'll get a third drive up here in Euro pound. Hello, Khalid. How are you? I'll be speaking with Faith Might, Lydia today. All things cable. So all you pound traders, pound cross traders, stick around for Lydia in about an hour. Yes, I'd say so. Okay. I'm pretty sure this is it, Addenda. So how's everyone doing today? Hello, Ali. How are you? Mystic, Tillin. How's it going, Tillin? Skip, how's it going? Welcome to LAR. Hi, Abel. How have you been, buddy? Planet, what's up? Canada still doesn't look ready. Yesterday, I pointed out a divergence that was happening in the crude oil. We had drive 2 right here. See if we could get one more push down. Hello, JJ. Nice call on the pound yesterday. I believe it was you looking for a move back towards the 151 level. Everyone congratulate JJ on that call. He was talking about it down in here, looking for 51. Nice call, JJ. In fact, I nominate you to be the man. Hello, Ricardo. JJ likes a pound down here, so I'm bestowing upon him the man award. Congratulations. Hi, Armand. How you doing? Congratulations, JJ. Everyone congratulate JJ. Not in a big way in the stock market yet. It may be more about coming out maybe more about dollar weakness and risk off, at least for now. But nice call, JJ. Hi, Fame. Malcolm, how you doing? Monir, that's a new handle. Welcome, Monir. Everyone, welcome Monir to our community. Ricardo, how you doing? Alexandros, what's new? How about Ilar, welcome for Monir? Use less leverage. So any charts you guys want to share? Sell the next rally in the end back towards about 12280. The way it looks. Welcome to the jungle. You could call me Dale. I'm not the boss of this room. Just facilitating our mastermind community. Yeah. Diverging a little bit up here. Oh, the daily has divergence. Yeah, nice. Maybe we get a throw over, Alexandro. Sometimes markets will take out wedge lines like this, trade up above them, and then the next time back in the channel is the signal. The short term, I'm really not getting enough short term divergences, but that's a great notice here, daily divergence. Now it just has to start happening on some shorter term TFs. I want to thank Alexandros for his look on the daily USD CAD showing divergence. Thank you, everyone. Thank Alex. Let's look on the daily CAD. JM, how are you? Yeah, short term, too much momentum, even though we're reversing the euro right here. You need to be patient with everything. 137.20. Let's see your chart, Armand, if you don't mind. Armand's talking 37.40, 37.20. That would tie in with another shot down in crude oil. How's everyone today? With JM. You enjoying your time here in our community, JM? Excuse me. Enjoying your time here? Skip, how about you? What do you think of LAR? Hi, Zig. Ziggy, I showed your so Ziggy does this every morning. So Ziggy, my brother, is telling everyone, instead of Nostradamus, I look more like a rabbi. What do you think, buddy? Maybe Armand's going to share a Canadian chart with us. Thanks for the tweet, Ziggy. See how we're confirming this high again here? Alex on the Canada here on the 4 hour, it confirmed the high in USD CAD. Even confirmed it on the 1 hour. That's a pretty high reading up here. Thank you, Zig. Hi, Ricardo. How are you doing, buddy? What's up? So Guppy with the strength in the pound, not much of a recovery because of the yen. Couldn't get through the 85 level. I know. Just call me Nostra Pinkert, the Rabbi of Lar. Hi, Fame. How are you, my friend? Planet, how are you doing? Hi, Khalid. How are you doing, D. Kadik? That's right, it is Hanukkah. Oh, Hanukkah, Hanukkah, come light the menorah. Dreidel, 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 I made it out of clay. Dreidel, 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 a dreidel I will play. Everyone doing okay? Dollar looks like it may want to pop here. Maybe this is A with an irregular B and we still get a C down to 107.5. I just can't fight this momentum up here. It's too much for me. Well over 70. It's diverging though, because this reading was 80. So this was forecasting a new high, right? So after Draghi, all we did was move sideways. We've got a new high. It is diverging, but just a little bit too much momentum for me. So we are diverging though, right? New high in price, lower high on the RSI. Everyone agree and see it? It's just a little bit too high for me. See the 4 hour. It's even more glaring on the 4 hour here. Everyone see this? It's even more glaring. So maybe we have, this is the second drive up here. Here's one, here's two. We peak in here and pull back and then we get three. What do you think? Hi, Sinatra. Thank you, Armand. Here's Armand's look into Canada. Missed your charts, buddy. So that's where Armand's return line, trend line comes in up here, 37.40. This is one, this is two, and we're setting up three here. I want to thank Armand for this daily look. On you, it's a weekly look on USD CAD. I would bet there's divergence there too on the weekly between these two highs. On the weekly, it looks like a 1, 2, 3 setting up. Thank you, Armand. I want to thank Forex Czar for his USD CAD weekly look. Very nice look. Thank you, Forex Czar, which is Armand. Nice. Very nice look. So let's see if we, on the weekly, we have divergence. Alexandros has pointed out the daily divergence. And here's the weekly. Yes, and the weekly's at 70 right here. Look at that. Drive one, drive 2, drive 3. Well, 110.80 was the breakdown, wasn't it? 110.80. So we have weekly and daily divergence. So this is where I thought the euro might be able to go to. That actually takes it up to Rick's number of 112. Rick was looking for 112. That would be the breakdown. This breakdown line of the daily. What are you thinking in here, Planet? Yeah, glaring. I would actually call it glaring. Here's your weekly. We're right there. So that's going to coincide with some kind of bear market rally in crude oil now that everyone's talking $20 crude and $10 crude. Okay, the pound kiwi was something you talked about last week, and we shot down, made a new low. It was here. Wow, nice comeback. I think you were talking about it in here, Armand. Thank you, buddy. Gold has not made a new high yet, but on this Canada top, perhaps we need one more shot down in crude. But yesterday during the session, I was showing this divergence in crude. Everyone remember I was showing drive 1 down here, one heck of a rally. We had a $2 rally in a couple hours. So if we head back down into this range, I believe we'll diverge again in the crude oil. Give me a Y if you see it. Aussie held the 7180, which was the 2-week off number, 7180. Held right where I thought it would. So maybe we get a right shoulder up here in Aussie, up to 73. This could be a neckline. The 200 moving could be a neckline here on the 4-hour. Right here. And perhaps we get a failing rally. Okay, thank you, chat. So I teach this when I mentor people. I teach the 2-week reversal candle. And I was mentoring someone last week, and I was bearish Aussie. And I said, for a possible target in Aussie, pull up your weekly in Aussie. Pull up your weekly. And you count back 2 candles. 1, 2. And you look at where it closed that week. and that's a possible target. And the close 2 weeks ago was 71.85. Everyone see this? You count back 2 candles on the Aussie, and that's how I came up with that target of 71.80. So at the beginning of the week, I write down my 2-week off numbers. Okay, thank you. I'm just trying to teach something. Okay. If it holds 180, that's the key. But everyone, give me a Y if you see this. All you do is you count back 2 candles on the weekly, see what the close was. Everyone see that this close was 71.85. Give me a Y if you see that. Just trying to teach people that haven't seen this before what a 2-week off number is. Give me a Y if you see that close from 2 weeks ago. I don't know. So give me a Y if you see the 2 candle close from 2 weeks ago in the Aussie. Sinatra sees it. Alexandro sees it. All right. So coming into this week, I told, hi, Ricardo. So coming into this week, I told people, and this one guy I was mentoring, that you could use this as a potential target for the decline, 71.84, the 2-week off number. Look at what the low was. It was pretty close. So your off number was 71.83. Pretty close. That was a 2-week close. So coming into this week, I figured 71.80 for a target because of that off number. Give me a Y if you understand how you could use a 2-week close to either trade against it or use it for targets, etc., etc. It's a very simple technique, but you'll be surprised how frequently, hi, Sirik, you'll be surprised how frequently those numbers come into play. Give me a Y if you understand what I just taught. If you don't, I'll explain it again. Maybe another something you could put in your trading tool bag. How have you been, Sirik? So every week you write down your 2-week close and watch how that number will come into play for you. It's a very simple technique, but it's amazing how the markets respect those levels. And how you use it for a reversal is you have to wait for Friday's close. So if on Friday's close we're under 71.83, that's a sell signal. You're welcome, Sinatra. It's a Forrest Gump trading technique. Thought I'd share a little something that I teach. Not just a one-trick pony with RSI. A lot of things go into the whole deal. I'm not looking at the low, I'm looking at the close. I don't look at the high or the low for a number to trade or play. Okay, you want me to go over it again? Okay. So you go to your weekly charts And you could use this on daily. You could use it on all time frames. So I use the weekly. And I count back 2 weeks, Ricardo. And 2 weeks ago, the Aussie closed at, on my platform, 71.85. So that was my objective on the short. See this 2-week close, 71.85. So when I recommended the short, I thought we could go to 71.85, which is within 10 pips of the low. You got it? You got it, John? Yeah, or you could call it an off number. It's not giving you an idea of whether it reverses until Friday, right? Because it's a weekly candle, so you don't know till Friday. But interweek, if that number comes into play, that area is normally respected. So within 8 pips, it was respected on the Aussie. It's just a very simple little number that you could bring into your trading plan. I don't know. I'm not sure what you're talking about with 75.44. I just used it as a target for the short up here on the third drive. From this short. That's the target I was looking for, because that's where it would go to reverse, to give me a 2-week reversal, which so far it hasn't done it because it's about 50 pips above it. So I don't know what 75.44 has to do with this at all. I'm sorry, I don't. So let's see, there's 20 or 30 in here. That's right. So it came back to it. I'm not talking about a 4th week. I guess you just let's call it 2 candles. Let's just call it 2 candles. Anyway, you're trying to make it into something I'm not even talking about. I'm just talking about a 2 candle. Okay. I'm just talking about a 2 candle off number. You want to show a pitchfork? Ouch. Don't stick me with it. So we might be setting up a third drive here in the Aussie. Here's one. There's 2. Nice little divergence there. Just a simple trading technique I want to share with you guys. If you follow those numbers, you'll be amazed at how many times they come into play, that the market will respect that number. Everyone doing okay? We're diverging in Aussie yen here. Aussie yen due for some kind of reflex rally. This was another nice Three driver here. Maybe we're on our way back to check the pivot at 89.40. 89.40 in Aussie yen. You're very welcome, Cyric. So you could use that on any time frame. Is that Izzy? Okay, Izzy is the one I taught it to. Is that you, Israel? So we talked about this before the trade happened, right, Izzy? We talked about it last Thursday. So we had a few days to prepare for it. Friday, Monday. I hope you saw it because we went over that. So here we have a harmonic by Cyric. And the pound Aussie. Nice. Everyone thanks Cyric for it. It's daily pound Aussie. AB equals CD. Looks like a harmonic. Thank you, Cyric. Let me ask you, why didn't you take them? Let me help you. Why didn't you take them? You saw them. What held you back from taking the trade? You did all the work. I'm curious. And forget the should have, would have, could have. Forget them. Should have, would have, could have. What I'd like to know is why. Why not? Tell me why you didn't. Afraid of losing? Fear of loss? Risk aversion? You weren't paying attention at the time? Just trying to get to it, trying to mentor you right here, right now, live. So your answer will help other people. Tell us why you didn't take them. Why you didn't take the trades. My guess is fear. Fear of losing. Am I correct? Oh, it's your teacher's fault. But you weren't looking at an intraday chart. You had your daily. So you have 20 teachers in here. You have new teachers. You have other teachers now. So that's not the reason. What's the real reason? No one forces you to use big leverage. That's not accurate. All right. Why not? Why don't you could have taken a micro on it or a mini on it, right? Let's get to the real reason. The real reason is you were afraid it wouldn't work. Let's not blame a former teacher or a broker. If you want to progress, look in the mirror. Look in the mirror. Okay, well then you need to move your account. Go to FX Pro. They do. Okay, so that's the reason is you didn't have enough money to take the trade. Okay, valid. I'm not sure if that's the whole reason. Let's see what Chad has. He has a pitchfork to show us. Yeah, here's the pitchfork in the Aussie. Okay, so you expect it to go up to this pitchfork. It held the pitchfork. So that was another reason to cover. Nice look. There's a classic Andrews pitchfork. Thank you, Holly. I want to thank Holly. Here's Ricardo's yen. Yeah, I think we're going here. Thank you, Rick. So thank you, Holly. Thank you, Rick. So are you buying it? You're talking about what you would do. Have you bought anything here? Oh no. But you're saying you would buy it here. Have you bought it? You said you'd buy the crap out of it right now. So why didn't you buy it? Okay. So you just made a statement. I buy the crap out of Aussie here. I'm quoting you. So are you buying it? You're advising others to do something you haven't done? Okay, I'm going to take a quick break here. I'll be back in about 5 minutes. Stick around for Lydia at Faith Might. I'm just going to take a quick break and I'll be back in 5. Thank you for your contributions today, everyone. Yeah, you just said that you would buy the crap out of Aussie. So did you buy it? Okay. Good hunting. Okay, then I'm back. That's Apostle. I agree with JJ. I don't like the games the SMB plays. Rick's Aussie look. Was this a weekly? Huh. Thank you, Rick. Yeah, but why gamble? It's kind of like guessing what the Fed is going to do or an NFP. Why try and okay, that's a monthly. Okay, thank you. Of course, use less leverage. You can't get that song out of your head either. Yohei is great. Everyone doing okay? Lydia will be with us in about 15 minutes. Gold's Euro made a new high. The gold did not yet. Stock market higher. Gold shares higher. Okay, it's G, E minor, C, D, G. G, E minor, C, D, G. Those are the chords. Yeah, it is pretty choppy. I don't blame you, Mystic. That's fine. That's a good decision. I mean, I think the next inflection point, you could probably stay flat until the Fed and get rid. Your broker doesn't want to hear me say that. Yeah. But you could probably just wait for the Fed next week and react to it. Probably going to see a lot of chop just into it. Anyone agree with me? That we're probably seeing some book squaring or front running or whatever into the Fed next week. Is it next Wednesday, a week from today, that they give us their momentous decision? Is it a week from today? Aussie yen trying to turn. Euro yen still looks like it has some upside. The weakness is your guppy. And Armand's thinking pretty nice divergence in the guppy here. That if 180 holds, we're going to have a huge move. Right. Smart, Rick. I don't know. I think, okay. I think the tortoise beats the hare. I don't know. I just think there's air pockets on events like that. You could throw your charts away for an hour. Just my opinion. I'm not saying, we're all captains of our own ship. So when I say something, I'm not commanding it. Oh, there's always another trade, Holly. All I'm doing is expressing my opinion. And you know what they say about opinions. Everyone has one. And that's okay if I miss something, Holly. I always miss trades. And it's okay because there's always another one. I miss trades every day. It used to bother me, but it really doesn't anymore. Yeah, we didn't get there. That is correct, Rick. I was thinking 85.20 or so, but there is a parabolic up there. And then you'd have your stop over this high. And that could happen. What Mystic is saying, Apostle? But you were able to use a reasonable stop there under the March low. What you got, Armand? I bet it's a guppy. Look, I'm not a millionaire. Pound Kiwi. All right. That is a bullish chart. Thank you, Armand. That's a very constructive looking chart. I want to thank Armand for his weekly look. Yeah. People always blame something else, never themselves. Okay. Thank you, Armand. Stand by for Lydia. Hi, Luimo. Izzy, is that you? Did you see that Aussie trade? Malcolm, how you doing? Skip, hope you're enjoying your time. Tillin, think you guys come to see Yohei in the morning? So I think the jury's still out. If we're going to get Armand's target in the Canada, I think crude is going to fall one more time down to under 37. Maybe we don't get to Rick's 35 number. Yes, we all talk to ourselves. Thank you, Ricardo. Here's Ricardo's guppy look. Right here. Wow, nice triangle. This measures 180, right? 84 to 88. If we break down, target's 180. Very nice triangle, Rick. Nice work. Everyone thank Ricardo for this 4-hour look on the guppy. Looks like a descending triangle to me. Descending triangle if it breaks down. Thank you, Ricardo. Everyone thank Rick. Thank Armand. I think at the minimum in here, my trading warrior brothers and sisters, that when people share their work, the least that could be done is a thank you for them sharing it. There you go. Sinatra has manners. I shouldn't have to teach you guys or tell you guys to say thank you. Right? Oh, here, I got a screenshot from Swazika. Swazika's looking for 115 plus. Here's the Euro roadmap from Swazika. I just saw the tweet here. That's Stewart for those of, so you got to buy this pullback here if we get one. He's very good. Don't fade Swazika. Anyone having problems with sound? So there's Swazika's Euro look. Looking for at least 115. Impulsive move. This was impulsive. This was corrective. Maybe we get one more pullback. Got to be short the dollar. Yeah, good. I think you're right. That's certainly the way the shares are acting. Shares are absolutely exploding today. Dow's up 100. Okay. Anyone else having issues with the sound besides Sinatra? Okay, the Fed's next Wednesday. Sound is good, Apostle? Okay. Lydia should be here shortly. Stand by for Lydia. She'll straighten us out on the cable. Everyone doing okay? So the sound's good. Yeah, it could be bandwidth. Thank you, Ali. Up until next week. 42. Okay, I see something up here. Yeah, 41-ish. A guy I respect is looking for, after this bounce, $20 next year. Looking for $20 crude next year. He's a very good E-waiver. So I'd keep that in mind. Good suggestion, Apostle. Okay, the new option. That comes in right after the Fed, too. Thank you, Ali. I believe Lydia has just joined us. Thought I heard someone come in the room. Okay, Adinda, that's fine. I'm just waiting for, we will end the session 10 minutes early today. That's fine. I'm not going to argue with closing 10 minutes early. Yeah, 112.5, Ricardo. I have 112.5 too. Probably the same line. Yeah, it's the same line. You and I end up with a lot of the same lines, Rick. Here's Rick's look of where the euro could go to. 112.5 up here. No, it's a different line. I think it's this line. This is a weekly. So there's Rick's look of the euro. 110.50, 110.80, and then 112. Thank you, Rick. So I have a daily line there in the euro as well. It comes in at 12.50. That's your weekly line. Yeah, 1990 it did that. I was in the markets then. So on the euro, there's my daily line comes in there, Rick. Right here, 112. Right there. I think Lydia has entered the room. Hello, Lydia.
Hey, Dale. Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Hello, everyone. Lydia Idem Finkley at Phase Might has joined us here in LAR. Great to have you here, Lydia, especially in front of the Fed and the wild action that we had last week. I'm very curious and interested in your views going into what finally could be the liftoff of rates next week. And thank you so much for joining us, Lydia. How have things been going?
Good. Thank you so much for having me back, especially, right into the year end, like you said, ahead of the Fed. And what an epic week we had last week.
Wow.
So it's been a great time in the markets, actually, this fourth quarter of the year.
Yeah, and I notice on Twitter you've been monitoring the euro pound. I know it's one of your favorite pairs, and
right.
I was just guessing down there under 70, Lydia, that we might put in a right shoulder. But the euro pound, which I follow mainly because I did learn that from you to pay attention to euro pound, and that I've integrated it into my trading as foreshadowing currency to tell me about direction of the dollar, and the euro kept making new lows, new lows, new lows, and the euro pound could not. So maybe we could get to a screen share, and you could tell us what you're seeing, and if you think that the inflection from Draghi was just corrective or the beginning of something new. So you go to the green box up on the upper left-hand corner with the arrow in it.
Gotcha. You can see my charts.
Not yet, then you have to hit start. First you hit a chart, you select the chart you want to see, and then you hit start. Nothing yet.
Oh, I see. Okay.
See you though. You look very pretty today. So we see you, and I know that your charts are beautiful like you. So still not seeing anything. I think you have to hit the start.
I'm trying to find my screen. I can't.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, they're showing me my different screens, but they're not showing me my charts.
The ones that you want. Okay.
Yeah, maybe it's this one. It says desktop. Google Hangout. I'm so sorry. Go with this one.
We've had people at times have to log out, log back in, and I'm still getting used to the Hangout, getting used to hanging in the Hangout.
I don't know which screen it's showing me. Okay, okay. But that's not the screen I'd like to share.
So when I do it, okay, your screen went blank. When I click it, well, now right now I'm on probably going to be on camera. Well, I go to the full screen one and I click it, and then I just click start screen share, and my charts come up.
Okay, let me put it on the same screen as my charts and see what happens. If I share here.
So nothing much came out of Carney the other day. What, more double talk from Carney?
I don't know if he gave us double talk. I think he just didn't. I mean, I think he delivered. Really, we as market participants were expecting more, just expecting more easing, just a bigger bazooka. But he delivered the bazooka. So if you read my quid report, that's exactly what I said. He delivered the bazooka. It was just a lighter. It was just lighter than we expected. So
Okay.
in my view, he actually did deliver.
Okay. So I had your screen showing here. The euro pound's there. Okay. So.
Oh, okay, great.
Okay. So we're looking at the euro pound, and we did not make new lows.
Right here. Right.
Yeah. Right.
And
so,
this descent. You know what? Last time we talked, we actually were. It was before this ascent to 75, and we talked about how we were looking for it to go up. Maybe it would pull back again,
right? Yeah.
Right. And the fact that we hit this 50% fib, this larger one, really was looking for a decline to new lows, right? If we were completing the fib move, we really should have closed below 70 and saw an assault on the 69.29 lows. And like you said, we didn't get that. And it took a while for this to materialize, but our ECB meeting last week delivered. We actually saw the signs ahead of the week, ahead of the meeting on that Monday, that this was actually a buying opportunity, which felt weird. So those in the private feed who have access to my private feed, I said it feels weird, but you're gonna buy dips here. You want to buy this euro pound against this 70 with the stops below 69.80.
Yeah, some guy on Twitter, Lydia, when I was, forecasting that we may not make a new low and put in a right shoulder, said that if you don't think euro pound is going to 69, under 69, you should apply for a job at a car wash. And I told him to send me the application.
Well, I wonder who's working at the car wash now.
Then after a rally, he unfollowed me.
Oh, you think he would stay followed to you?
Yeah. So,
maybe he's working at the car wash.
Yeah. So, I'm of a mind that was a pretty important inflection point, and I guess the next big test is going to be, does the dollar get a big lift when the Fed moves next week?
No.
No, I don't think so either.
That's my position. My position is it does not. And actually, I think we're going to see 2016. We're going to see we're going to see dollar weakness. That's what I think.
Okay.
So we've been rallying. It's kind of what is it? It's going to be, in this case, it's going to be buy the rumor and it's going to be sell the fact.
Right.
So, and it's much like the euro's reaction to the ECB. It was a sell the rumor, buy the facts, same situation, right? I think we're going to see that exact same thing happening with the dollar. And if we jump to the pound dollar, that's what we're seeing. So what surprised me was the velocity. Like, is 4-hour chart should be okay?
Yeah.
4-hour chart. So what surprised me was yesterday's decline through $1.50. That's what surprised me, because am I on? Okay, I'm sorry. Thought I had it on a smaller chart. But if you took a fib on this rally, last week's rally, the 61.8 actually came in at the 50 at $1.50. So I anticipated that we would, and you see this candle did it, and then we got the break lower. But we would bounce off $1.50 and come back to the highs. But we broke lower, on dollar strength, and but we never confirmed. You know, we got this break lower, and then the following candle rallied and closed above $1.50, and now we have this subsequent rally. And
I know you're a big believer in 61.8 being the favorite fib for
yeah,
the
well,
pound.
50,
50?
50 is the favorite fib, but the 61.8 is the ultimate. That's my line in the sand. I mean my line in the sand when it comes to pound.
Just a suggestion, because I think a lot of people play 61.8 is that I don't want to change anything that works for you, but to me, just eyeballing it, it may have been 78.6 back at 49.5. And what I like about 78.6 is it shakes out the 61.8 players, and and then you just wait for it to get back above the 61.8. But
Oh, you're talking about adding the
yes,
76.
yeah, add the 78.6 to it, because I know I see a lot of 78.6% retracements, even
Oh, and
88.
that would have put us around here, huh?
Yeah,
You're saying?
yeah.
Okay.
But so here we are knocking at the door of 150,
Last week's
160,
high.
about to take that high out.
Yeah, and we are looking at $1.5250. We get a close above $1.5250, and we are headed back to the 54.50 highs. And this mess, this onslaught mess that we've had pretty much for the second half of this year, just trying to get above $1.55, and it's just been unsuccessful every single time. So if I could just at least move this so we have a visual of $1.55, right? Right
Yes.
around here. So you can, I mean, it's been for the entire second half of the year since we broke below it in August. We've just constantly been trying to get above on dollar weakness. It's been failing because people have been, buying the dollar into the rate hike. So we thought if we would get it in September, so that was this buy. We didn't,
Right.
so that was this disappointment. So then we waited. Maybe it was October. It was a possible chance.
Right.
Wasn't a high probability, but it was possible. So that was this buying. We got disappointed again. Now it's December. December seems likely, seems more and more likely, and so we're back to $1.50. But the market and even broke down to $1.49. But the market is not much like the euro. I don't think we're going to get the reaction that everyone thinks makes sense, which is dollar strength on a interest rate hike. I don't think that's the reaction that we will get.
Okay, so pretty much we've been in a 800 pip range ballpark. With your view on the dollar, you think that the pound has a chance of recovering and possibly even taking out that 158 level on a macro basis, or how are you going to play it? Say we get the interest rate increase, you'd be looking to buy pullbacks in cable and
I would
pullbacks.
be waiting to hear what we hear from the BOE this week. So when the Bank of England turned on us a little bit. They turned dovish about October. They turned dovish, and that was, in my view, in getting ahead of what was possibly going to be a Federal Reserve delay in the hike in October. So we got that. It wasn't a weak jobs report. It was just a disappointing jobs report. Not last, back 2 months ago in October. And it seemed that the feds would delay even in December, that they would not hike rates. And you saw the Bank of England backpedal, because what has always been said is that the Bank of England would like to raise interest rates, but they would not want to do it before the Federal Reserve did. So I believe we saw backpedaling because most of the market believed at that time that the Fed would not raise interest rates. And we've had Yellen come out and talk, and all her rhetoric has been hawkish. She has not wavered from that. And she's had the jobs reports to back her up, back up that hawkish rhetoric. So if the Bank of England maintains its dovishness, I would be interested to see how the pound reacts. Typically, and most importantly, I think against the euro pound, because that is the interest rate. That's the exchange rate. I'm sorry, that the BOE watches more closely than cable. So if we get a weak pound here, which I think we can get a weak pound here, but we can still get a strong pound in the dollar because a weak pound here would mean a strong euro, which would drag the euro dollar up. We would see a rally in the euro dollar, which would drag the pound dollar up as well. So
Yeah.
I just need to see, we just need to hear what's going on with the Bank of England. It's quite possible that with the Federal Reserve now pretty certain that they will raise interest rates, even if it's a one and done or a one and 6 months later, that if they do raise interest rates, that it's quite possible that we hear the Bank of England come out hawkish again on Thursday. If that happens, you're going to see a pound rally pretty hard across the board. And what we want to see here is if this euro pound can actually break below 70 on that, if it would be enough.
Yeah, I'm favoring buying pullbacks to, say, the 71.40, 71 level on euro pound, thinking that eventually we're going to get back towards that 75 range. And, kind of my long-term campaign trade would be like a 79.80 euro pound.
I'm pretty bullish on the euro pound as well.
Okay. Do you have any levels that look interesting to you? If we, we've had a pretty nice wave, 360, about 300 pips from the low 270.
Yeah.
You have an area of interest. Should the euro pound pull back into that scenario?
I would be looking right now, short term. We're looking right in here.
Okay.
We're paying attention to the larger. I haven't extended it yet, but if this one breaks, then we would be looking at the larger fib move would be down into 71.60, 71.30. Okay. So really 71.50 is where we're going to, is that kind of pivot area.
Okay.
But that would be the larger zone if this short term. But short term, we're kind of just we're buying dips short term here with 72 to support and a stop below the lows this week.
Okay, you answered. Ricardo had a question for you, and sure. You answered part of it. You are expecting dollar weakness into 2016. He'd also like to know if you're favoring a risk-on scenario while that happens. Do you think that, for a while, equity markets were feeding on a strong dollar? Do you think that, that equity markets can also feed on a weak dollar, because a lot of people were thinking the strong dollar was hurting the market? So are you looking for risk on with dollar weakness or risk off? And if you don't know, I could say I don't know.
That's a really good question, and I actually anticipate I would say a risk-on environment because I don't think that equities will weaken as much as people expect. Okay. I believe that, and if we see that, we'll obviously see the yen start to weaken as well. I believe that the yen is weakening mostly because of a hawkish Bank of Japan and less on risk aversion. So that's
why are they getting hawkish when they just barely avoided recessionary readings? Do you have any idea why they're talking like hawks?
That their thinking is that their economy will improve further, especially into 2017. They believe that inflation will tick higher, and if you've been paying attention to these central banks, Reserve Bank of Australia, the Bank of Canada, the Bank of Japan, all have been very hawkish on inflation in the last month, which has been strange because oil has been crashing, or in the same time frame. It's been consolidating. Let's give it that. It's been consolidating, but it's been grinding lower. And this week, after OPEC, we're getting a renewed wave lower. But so it's interesting to hear the central banks forecasting, because obviously their forecasts are ahead. They're not now outlooks, they're future outlooks, and they're pretty hawkish. And the Bank of Japan is actually in that camp where they believe that inflation will rise because they're seeing pressures, wage pressures in their labor market, and that's pretty much the same with Reserve Bank of Australia. They're saying the same thing. Despite commodity prices, they're seeing wage increases in their labor markets as well. And
So that's
so
interesting, though. The whole globe, except for China and Europe, are starting to talk more about the beginning of an interest rate cycle with rates heading up. So it's not just a divergence between Europe and the U.S. anymore. There's divergence between Europe and the Asia and
really would like
commodity
to hear
currencies.
I really want to hear what the Bank of England has to say, you know, and because and the Federal Reserve obviously would have this same kind of outlook as well if they're looking to raise interest rates to get ahead of inflation, right? The downturn that we've seen in actually I can even pull it out to a daily chart. This tremendous rally we've seen in the Aussie is part of that is because of the hawkish sentiment that was coming out of the Reserve Bank of Australia. And just really, if you read the minutes, if you read the speech by Governor Stevens, like you would pick that up, even if the commentary around it didn't suggest it. So I think that the collapse in commodity prices this week is what is really dragging on the Aussie, dragging on the CAD, and we're seeing those currencies in particular collapse this week. Now and after their monetary policy announcement. So it's been an interesting time, but we trade technicals too. So with the pound Aussie, it's just trading this channel. We touched the bottom of the channel last week, and even if it's being helped by the commodities, but particularly iron ore and copper with the Aussie, with those prices collapsing, but this rally was set to happen just based on technicals, and we're looking for this to we were looking for this to go to 209.50, and because we were cautious of these fib levels, and those were last week's highs. We've exceeded those, and now we're really looking for it to come back to the top of the range at 212. 212 is kind of the line in the sand on this with this pair as well. You can see it's found support, it has found resistance, and so we're looking to see what happens once we hit this top of the range. Pound CAD had been range bound for a while as well, and it's broken out. It was range bound at the 50 back here for a long time, for several weeks, and we're just breaking out this one, obviously, again on OPEC and the decision to maintain production levels in the face of a supply glut, really. So we were looking for it to test the 61.8, which is confluence with the 205 resistance level. We got that today, and now we're looking to see if price, if we get the confirmed close above, or if we get a dip. If we get a dip, you all know me, I'm going to be drawing a fib, and we'll see where the setup is on a dip lower.
Okay. So we talked about the Bank of Japan, and earlier you're on the guppy. We took out some support, cleaned out the stops under 84.
Yes.
We almost got to your 2015 target. You were real right about looking for $2. Almost got there, and this is corrective in your view, and perhaps we're going to challenge that. We'll get $2 in 2016. Is that your view?
If we get if equities can break out, yes, that would still be my view. But I'm watching. We would need to see some hawkishness. I want, the yen. The yen has always had the benefit of a dovish central bank, so it's interesting to see them pulling back from that sentiment and how the yen can react alongside that. So we're really having some struggle. I am hesitant to say that we would see 200 only because this 618 level was broken. If you drew this one, which I had since deleted, we got, was it this? I thought it was. I can't see my levels anymore. Where did it go? I think this is, no, that's the old 618. The 618 is here. Okay, I don't know if you can see it, but it's here.
Okay, what, 82.90-ish?
Yeah. And this was broken below when we got below 175. Down here, we got this really big break of the 618. So and all I've done is after I took that out, I redrew it to the next low. But we have yet to see follow through on that 618 lower, but we keep getting failed highs at 180 above 188, right? So we've had this one at 188.26, this one at 188.80, and so we're still unable to get higher if we were to respect this Fibonacci move, but we're also not getting this follow through lower if we were to respect the break of that 61.8 with that move to 175. So to me, I'm hesitant to make huge predictions because I'm not really sure what equities will do. I don't think equities will collapse. I don't think that if we do see a crash lower, we might revisit the lows. We might break a little bit below that. But I do think that equities continue to grind higher. And that, and if we do get that kind of scenario, what does the Bank of Japan say? There was a vote last month to reduce quantitative easing out of Bank of Japan. That's been very quiet. So can the yen really collapse to 200 if the Bank of Japan eases up on their accommodation policies?
Right. So it's you're neutral.
I'm pretty neutral on the guppy.
Okay.
I'm playing the levels. I'm technical.
Right. So maybe if we get through 86, we have another shot at that 88, 89 level.
We have to get through 87.50.
Up there, maybe we tried that level.
If
we take out this 84 level that we're trying to hold, would you expect a retrace to your 100% retrace at the 180.34 level?
Yes. If we get a close below 184, I'd expect a challenge of the 181 support level. Okay. Yeah. So we have to get through 187.50 to challenge these highs. We have to get through 184 to return back to the lows. We need to stay below 181 to come back down to 175 down here. But we have to get out of this range, and we're basically just stuck in a range. And so,
maybe we're stuck until the Fed. I kind of think that was a big inflection point on Thursday, and
absolutely
what we have is a lot of book squaring or people just trying to adjust positions into the Fed next Wednesday.
Correct. Right. And into the year end, right? There's also going to be for 2016. So there's a lot of flows going on right now. So definitely next week, Wednesday it's going to be huge, and we'll see how markets react. Just as last week. Last week was really big. Was a really good week.
Yeah, that was the biggest move. That's interesting. That was the biggest move in the euro since the bottom of the financial crisis in March of 2009. Someone showed me a pound Kiwi chart today that looked pretty constructive to me. You showed the pound Aussie, so I'm assuming the pound Kiwi looks pretty good to you as well.
Yeah, yes, it does. So pound Kiwi is also in a range. It's been in a range. It was a short-term range between 230 and 224. And then it broke out of that range, and it got, here, and it got bullish here. And we got bullish with it. We were able to take this to 235, and it went a little higher. But then it came down, and it went below 230, and we got bearish with that, saying that it would come to the bottom of the range. So last week we got that. And for this week, I said that if we don't stay below, because we got the close below 224, which should have been a bearish signal, but that if we didn't, the bigger move was this Fibonacci move. The lows last week actually held about 8 pips ahead of this big 50 back.
Yeah. So it looks like we have a lot of setups that held major support. They're all attempting rallies right now.
On very volatile moves. Too.
Yeah, and those lows are make it or break it for a lot of the pound crosses.
Yes, and so what we're seeing is a hold of the huge 50 back, where we saw, and then we're also seeing a hold of the range. So just based on the range, we see this going to 230. We
Okay.
do have our fib levels in here, and they have been areas of resistance. So we just hit the 238, and we saw pullbacks, slight pullbacks off 228 when we hit the 38.2 level. Now we're, charging forward, and we'd expect to come here to the 50 back on this move and see what happens at 230. But yeah, pound Kiwi is also very constructive this week.
Okay. So, people, I know you have the QUID, you have your newsletter, you're also managing funds as an RIA. So, why don't you tell the community how they could receive your work and give them some details about how to keep in touch with your analysis into the Fed and going forward to be prepared with your work into 2016.
So the website for the report is let's see if I can get it to show up here. Great. Is bit.ly at quid //quid report. And the capital letters matter, so make sure you capitalize quid and report. And you can subscribe to the report there. It's a weekly report. You can also contact me directly through that platform with comments or questions. Subscribing to the quid report here, though, through this link will give you access to the private Twitter feed that is associated with the quid report. So the quid report comes out every Monday after the New York close. And then as the week develops, as you know, since we have a weekly outlook, things can change, especially as things develop fundamentally with different announcements and data releases. So the private Twitter feed gives those updates daily to the report. So like I had like just last week, for an example, just because of the setups on the technicals, the euro pound was bearish. We had a bearish outlook on Monday. While I was finalizing the report, I saw that I saw the bullish momentum building. We weren't getting below 0.7, and this is ahead of the ECB. And we published, but then we updated immediately that the euro pound is now bullish and that we actually want to buy. And we were telling folks to buy at 0.7. On that Tuesday, we were at 0.730. We said buy then, and we held it through 72.50. So
Nice.
the private Twitter feed, I think, is almost as valuable or more valuable than the weekly report. But I do also want to say that traders are expected to trade their systems, that I provide direction.
We're all captains of our own ship.
Correct. So that it will work best with those who know how to trade. I would say the quid report is for intermediate to advanced traders who are just looking to have more clarity on the pound and how to trade pairs.
You're part of their intelligence gathering.
I hope to be.
Well, you are, Lydia. So your hopes are fulfilled. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas, Lydia, my trading warrior sister, and thank you for hanging out with us today, Lydia. I'm a fan, and you deserve your title of Cable Queen. And thanks for thank you so much for giving us some of your numbers and your expectations into next year. And as always, I hope that, like snowflakes, pips just drop on you and everyone that follows your work.
Thank you, Dale. Thank you. Have a great Christmas. Enjoy these last few weeks of trading. Everybody keep your noses clean. While everyone's enjoying Christmas, our markets are still open. So happy trades to everybody out there. Thanks so much for always having me on, Dale. Happy New Year.
Count on being back several times next year, my friend.
I will. I'm holding you to it. Thank you.
All right. Good hunting, Lydia. Thank you very much. That's Lydia Idem Finkley. @FaithMight is her Twitter handle. You could follow her here or go to the link, bit.ly quid report, capital Q for quid. And everyone, please give Lydia a thank you for sharing her work with us today. It's my mission to bring in the best of the best, edify you guys, and help your intelligence gathering to help you make great market decisions. So We're running a little bit late here today, and Zahir Anwari is going to be with us in about 10 minutes, I believe, Adinda. So let me just do a quick wrap up for everyone. If you can see my screen. So here we are, Euro USD. You got to buy any dip. I'm not sure it will accommodate down to 107, but I still think we're going to see the 112 level. Pound is outperforming, which is going to create, I talked about this yesterday, a potential buying opportunity in Euro Pound, maybe down around the 71.40 level. Yen has fallen apart on hawkish statements, not necessarily risk off, because you have the equity market sharply higher. We're going to be looking, since the whole world is bearish crude, I think we're getting close to some type of top in Canada. Armand says about 137.5. Here's your weekly glaring divergence. In USD CAD, we just need some of the short-term momentum indicators to start rolling over. You know, this is still a confirmed high in the 4 hours, so still looking for one more push up. One more break in crude, and then I think there's a scalp on the long side of crude, and I think there's a scalp on the short side of USD CAD. So perhaps we'll get this one more push down in crude, one more push up in Canada into the Fed for shorting opportunities there. I'd like to take this time to thank everyone for their contributions today. Ricardo, as usual, thank you for all your great looks. JJ, thank you. Sirik, thank you for your looks. Mystic, Luimo, Holly, thank you. You're a great addition to our community. Ali, thank you. Forex Stop Hunter, thank you. Adinda, thank you. Fab, thank you. Planet, Jax, Manir, Izzy, hope you caught that Aussie. You were prepped for it. John 573, Armand. Lydia agrees with your take on the pound Kiwi. Fame, thank you, my friend. Sinatra. Thank you, buddy. Malcolm, Skip, JM, Tillin, Fabian. Everyone have a great day. I'll see everyone. We should write a recap. I will be writing a recap on Lydia's thoughts for the interview. You'll see it on Twitter. So, Abel, thank you, my friend. Remember, don't just count your pips, everyone. Count your blessings. And I'll see everyone tomorrow as the crude begins to fade. Here we are, crude fading pretty good. Thank you, Holly. We got up to almost 40. So we'll see if I'm right about one more flush out in crude down underneath 37. Okay, Mystic, nice to meet you. Abel, what do you usually say to people that are here for the first couple times? What do you say, Abel? If this is your first time in LAR, it won't be your last. I love you guys, and stay tuned for Zahir Anwari, and I'll see everyone tomorrow. Good hunting in the meantime.